What's up, Phantom owners? This is your boy Jameze, bringing to you a very quick video. It's come to my attention in the Facebook groups. I didn't realize how many people felt the way I felt about the Phantoms catalog and the search system as far as finding sounds. Threw me for a loop when I first was messing around to it till I figured it out. So check it out. I'm just going to show you how this thing works. So at first glance, you get this board and you see this screen, and we're in zone view. Now, if I was to turn the knob here, go through some sounds, as you can see, I chose bass, right? And I kind of like, if this is your flow, I kind of like the graphical view versus the list, but the list is very useful. At first glance, you look at this and you want to pick a bass. Let's say I do want to pick an acoustic bass, but they're only showing me like two of them before they're going over to all these categories. I would assume that maybe Fantom has put their highlights in each category. And so in order to see the rest of the acoustic bass, I would have to enter into it and see, now I have everything that it has to offer. And if you notice, there's more than one expansion in here. So Roland took the approach. They got this, basically I get it. Every expansion represents its own keyboard. And along with the new models, the Jupiter 8 that we just got. So all of these different expansions represent a different keyboard. And if you just bought the Jupiter 8, well, it would have categories. And what they did was they took all the categories from each expansion and they kept them, all in the same categories. So, and that's why you got this PRB, the Zencore, the ZM, N, and you got EXZ. And this is cool. You want acoustic bass, all you're gonna see is acoustic bass, electric bass, and this is all right. But you oftentimes would feel like you're missing something, because if I didn't go into the bass, I wouldn't even see the extra different types of bass. If I go over here to synth, well, synth only gives me synth leads. You have to actually go over to pads to see the synth pads and synth bells and all this other stuff. And if you're smart, you'll find your favorite ones. Go ahead and put a rating on it, and then hit your star, and bada bing bada boom, now you see all your favorites, and it all seemed to make sense that way. It makes it a little bit better, but that can still get cumbersome. That might not be your workflow. So check it out. This is what I found out. Let's say I want to see in this graphical representation all synth bass I have to offer, and I want to scroll through right here and see nothing but synth bass. Well, it's very, I'm gonna make this really quick. The magical button. Let's say I take this category, move it to synth bass. The button right next to it, lock, is gonna make everything easy for you guys. It's beautiful. Now, when you hit the lock, it actually locks that category, which means now you can see all synth bass, and it's going to go through all the different expansions. Nothing but synth bass, the whole way through, because that's what you want, right? And that goes for anything. So if I press guitar, long as my lock on, and I leave this lock on all the time, so it's on acoustic, I'm going to switch to distortion. And that's all I want to see is distortion. And there you go. You see it going through all the banks, all distortion. And it shows you a lot of things. If you go over here to type, it lets you know right off the rip, the only type of distortion sounds come from Zencore. There's no other expansion except for the Zencore type. But the banks is CMN. You got some of the EXZ. It's going to show you all the ones that actually have that. And there you go. So let's say I go back to bass. go to synth, right? My lock's still on. We just got new models. We got new expansions. Jupiter 8. Let's say this is not your workflow. Let's say, okay, this is nice. You know, I can see, you know, pick bases and I can pick the categories starting here. I'm a little confused because I just got my new Jupiter 8. Well, I want to see everything Jupiter 8. So let's say you want to see everything that's Jupiter 8 had to offer. Forget the categories. You just want to see the Jupiter 8 expansion. This is what you would do. I'm gonna take my lock off for a minute so I can go straight to the models. Jupiter 8. I'm gonna put the lock back on, and this is what you do. I want you to pay attention to the upper screen. As you can see, I got the categories on. I'm gonna go ahead and go inside right here, and you can't see it. Still can't see it. Of course, at the top, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get this drop down, and I'm gonna go to all categories. But I want you to see the right side of the board. What happens when I hit all categories? Boom. Check it out. All the lights just disappeared. So now I'm gonna hit OK, right? I'm gonna hit OK again. Where do I want to go? In order to stay in all categories, do not touch the category button on the screen or over here on the right side. As long as those lights are off, you're in all categories. So this is what you want to do now. I'm going to go to type. I'm going to go over to, we got to take my lock off. Go over to type. Here we go, model. Put my lock back on. Jupiter 8, right? What this is going to do is show me everything Jupiter 8 now. I'm stuck in Jupiter 8 because the right side has no categories picked, and the categories are going to change on the screen, but it's going in order of everything that Jupiter has. That's it. All the synth bases, all that. You're just going to see. It's just a long list. And if I hit enter, boom, you see nothing but Jupiter 8. Jupiter 8 all the way till you get to the Juno. So let's do that again. Jupiter 8, don't touch the category. My lock is still on. Jump back. So look, watch this. Juno, back to 8. Hit the top that I'm going to enter in. It's going to start me right at the beginning of the Jupiter 8. And now I can just scroll through. Nothing but Jupiter 8. No categories. I can go through all the sounds in this one expansion. And now I'm in the Juno. Nothing but Juno. Nothing but Juno. No categories. Check it out. And so that pretty much goes for everything. Take my lock off. Don't hit the categories. Let's say Supernatural EP. Right? Say show me, I guess, EX Supernatural. Bet. I'm just gonna go through all of my Supernatural EPs, and that's where it stops. Enter into it, and I can see everything. That one expansion, and it's so locked. If you look at the bottom there, you see the pages. 518, that's how many pages there are, and it's so locked in. Well, now you're going into the model user parts. It will come. Oops, I just touched the category. Don't want to move it. Put that lock on. I keep the lock on all the time, except if I'm trying to get to a particular spot. See, being in all categories, now you're stuck with, look at this, all the user tones for the Jupiter 8, which I don't really have any. Take the lock off. I want to go to, let's go to the SH101. At this point, you guys pretty much get what's happening here. Check it out. I love these leads. They're beautiful. I got some favorites in here. Hold up. Now, I hope that you guys get this, and I'll definitely make this video short, but hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. But check that out. That's the best way to operate this thing. Keep that lock on and you're good to go. Peace.